Tout le monde, bienvenue à la webconférence sur les programmes en linguistique en littérature et linguistique anglaise offerts à la Faculté des Lettres et sciences humaines. Je vous souhaite la bienvenue. Je me présente, Mélanie Boutin, responsable d'information sur les études pour la Faculté des Lettres et des sciences humaines. Donc, je suis heureuse de vous savoir avec nous aujourd'hui. La présentation durera environ une vingtaine de minutes. Durant celle-ci, vous pourrez poser vos questions en utilisant le question-réponse en bas de l'écran. Mais sachez qu'à la fin, il y aura également une période de questions durant laquelle vous pourrez à ce moment-ci, si vous le désirez, poser vos questions de vive voix. On débloquera alors votre micro, mais en utilisant également la question-réponse si vous le désirez. La séance d'information est enregistrée, donc on vous enverra le lien à la suite de celle-ci pour la revisionner de nouveau si vous le désirez. Donc, sans plus tarder, je vous présente M. Jean-Philippe Marcoux, directeur des programmes de tous les cycles à notre université en littérature d'expression anglaise. Je vous souhaite une bonne présentation et une bonne écoute.
Bonjour tout le monde, j'aimerais souhaiter la bienvenue à tous ceux qui sont connectés à cette présentation, à cette webconférence. Je vais dire quelques mots en français pour expliquer le fonctionnement de la webconférence. Après ça, je vais passer à l'anglais, étant donné que notre programme est donné entièrement en anglais. La présentation se fera en anglais. Sachez par contre que vous pourrez poser vos questions en français ou en anglais, ou en espagnol, c'est selon, à la fin de la période. Donc, aujourd'hui, nous allons parcourir le programme. Nous allons voir les spécificités et les champs d'expertise des professeurs. Nous allons aussi discuter des cheminements types et de ce qu'une scolarité dans notre programme, dans nos programmes, peut avoir l'air. Ensuite, nous allons parler des ressources et du programme d'échange à l'international. Welcome everybody to this web conference. My name is Jean-Philippe Marcoux. I'm the program director of the certificate and the bachelor's degree in literature and linguistics in English. Thank you for connecting to this web conference today. So the web conference today will traverse a variety of subjects and we'll look at the professors, the program, the mentality of the program, the philosophy of the program. We'll also look at your potential trajectory, what that would like, what kind of courses you will take. We will also look at different types of BAs you can take in our program, and then we'll move on to areas concerning resources, exchanges, and the market for the students. So, our program, our BA program, has three different concentrations. One concentration that is in literature, one concentration that is in linguistics, and a concentration that is oddly called without concentrations, a concentration where you can take a variety of literature and linguistics courses. Each concentration, as we will see later, has its own specific approaches. For instance, if you are to do the BA in literature, it opens to a master's degree in literature if you maintain a certain average, a B+, and if you fulfill other requirements, it leads into our MA program. The concentration in linguistics, may lead to a master's degree in literature and opens up as well to a master's degree in linguistics, which is offered by another department. The BA without concentration, because of its mixture of linguistic courses and literature courses, opens to our MA in literature as well, and with some supplementary courses will open or can open to the MA in literature and linguistics as well. Our BA program and our certificate program are organized around national corpuses. We have 4 professors in the literature program and linguistics professors from the Department of Linguistics who come and teach in our program. Of course, they come and teach the linguistic courses. But our 4 areas of expertise are divided, as I said, around the national corpuses. So we have a specialist, Professor Bradley Kent, whose field of expertise is British and Irish literatures. We have a Canadianist, Dr. Elspeth Tulloch, who specializes, as I said, in Canadian literature, but also in ecofeminism, adaptation studies, so the adaptation of film into literary genres. We have an expert in post-colonial literature and post-colonial theory, Professor Leonie Lochner, who is currently on a research year, but who will return to the program next year. So her body of courses that she's responsible for include the literatures of South Asia, Australia, and of course, Africa. We would like to say that finally, there is a specialist in literature, and you are looking at him right now. That would be me, Jean-Philippe Marcoux. I specialize in American literature, most precisely in the literatures of the 1960s forward. I also specialize in African American literature. What's interesting about our programs is that, as you can see, we offer a vast array of national corpuses and a vast array of courses that are attached to that. And one of the great advantages of studying with us is that you get a wide breadth of literature that begins with Shakespeare all the way to our current events. We also are engaged in what we call socio-criticism, which means that we tend to borrow from sociology, from history, from film, from music, as additions to our courses, to our literary approaches. You see that more at the master's level, but it's also firmly integrated into our BA and certificate programs. And it's important for us that you understand why we do that. We believe that literature is a pathway to understanding culture. It is a mirror to that culture, and we pay great attention to historical, cultural, political context because we do believe that literature is informed by and informs those contexts. So our approach to literature, which varies from one professor to the other, but is also interlinked at the same time, speaks to that desire to expand the scope of literary studies, sometimes placing it in the realms of cultural studies. Another advantage is because we are considered a smaller program, we get to know our students. And it's very important because we do not believe that there is one way to teach and one way to learn. We do believe that each individual who comes into our program has his or her own critical voice, and it is our responsibility and our job, and we take those very seriously. It is our responsibility to make sure that we develop and that we foster that the uniqueness of that critical voice. And it's important that we create environments in the classroom that are conducive to the development of that singular critical voice. So our small class sizes, the dedication of the profs, the ways in which, we can know individuals and take care of them at the individual level are all reasons why students converge in our programs. And again, we take that responsibility very seriously because we do believe in many ways, and in our courses and our approaches to the material show that we believe that we are in the process of training the next generations of cultural ambassadors who will go into the world and continue not as indoctrinated individuals, but as cultural ambassadors who will represent the culture of English, who will represent the values that we are trying to instill in our program and in our institution. So we will go through our professors and briefly introduce them because you will get a sense of what we do in the program. We have Professor Patrick Duffley, who is interested in syntax and linguistics. He's the one who's going to help you with syntax, with grammar. We have Professor Kirsten Hummel. Kirsten Hummel, who also teaches an important course in our program called Introduction to Linguistics, a course that is fundamental to your training as a writer and as a thinker. Professor Bradley Kent, specializing in British and Irish literatures that I've introduced before, who teaches first-year courses in drama. So you will have him in your first year, and he teaches theater. You also have him, depending on when you access the program, who in the course Survey of British Literature. Liani Lochner, our professor of post-colonial literature, who's also responsible for the course Children's Literature, which is obligatory in the literature concentration, a course that is very important in terms of the students who want to continue and teach at the CEGEP level. So myself, you see my specialties here. We also have Professor Sharzad Saif, widely, worldly recognized scholars of testing and of applied linguistics. Professor Saif is someone you will encounter in your second year, usually in our program, and someone who is more than likely to leave a lasting impression on you because of the dedication to the subject matter. And lastly, Professor Elspeth Tulloch, responsible for the Canadian literature portion of our program. She teaches a first-year course. It's likely to be the first course you take in our program, which is a short fiction, short story, a very important course that traces the trajectory of your program. Our other research interests are also in comparative literature, and as I said, in terms of film and adaptation theory, which you might see in your third year in the program. So in the BA in literature and in linguistics, in the general stream, and I want to come back to what I said before. I said that there was a concentration in linguistics, and I want to clarify something. I want to correct that information right now. That concentration has been abandoned a few years ago. So I want to make that clear. However, the students who are interested in linguistics, perhaps more than interested in literature, can do the general stream and can take the majority of their courses in linguistics. So in essence, the stream in linguistics doesn't exist as such, but the possibilities to do courses in linguistics exist in the general stream. So when we look at what a normal 3-year cycle would be in the program, you see that all of the courses are organized logically. In your first year, you will take courses that will help you build a solid foundation upon which you will be able to extrapolate and develop more precise knowledge and become expert in some corpuses with the hope that you will continue in the MA program. So for instance, in your first semester of your first year, let's say you come into the program next year, in the fall of 2020, you will get a course called Critical Writing, which is a course about how to write critically. It is basically a course that takes you, from point A to point B in terms of what is expected out of you as a critical writer in our program. So it gives you, the rules, the approaches, the research methodologies, everything that you need to write the essays that we ask for in our courses. So we begin with Critical Writing 1, which is about rhetoric and about communication. And in the winter, you take Critical Writing 2, 2 obligatory courses. Critical Writing 2 are the different approaches to argumentation, right, to rhetoric, and the different types of essays. Next year, in your first year, you usually have, a survey course. So you see fall of 2020, it is a survey of Canadian literature. Fall of 2021, it's survey of British literature. Survey of American literature and survey of post-colonial literature are usually given in the winter. So the survey courses are, large courses that map the geography of the national courses. And it's essentially, a course that presents a vast array of texts, approaches, schools, and writers that will then be broken down, into more specialized courses as you evolve in the program. In your first year, you will also take literary fiction. So most of the obligatory courses in the genres are taken in the first year. In the fall of your first year, you take literary genre short fiction. In the winter of your first year, you take literary genre poetry and literary genres theater. We do recommend that you try as much as that is possible to take your obligatory courses in the order they appear or in the order they're scheduled. The reason for that is that those courses provide you with the building blocks, right, as I said before, upon which you will be able to expand and extrapolate. So without that base knowledge, it is more difficult to go into 2000, ANG 2000 and 3000 level courses that are more specialized courses. The survey courses, even though they're 2000 level courses, should be taken when given, because the survey courses and certain other courses in the program are given every 18 months, so every 3 semesters. So you have to take them when they are offered. So to us, that trajectory in the general stream is the ideal one, the one that makes the most sense in terms of taking you where you need to be. For instance, in the fall of your third year, usually you will be required to take literary theory, which is a course that I'm giving right now, and a course that is obligatory if you want to continue into the master's program. So if you don't take the course when it's offered, then you might have to do courses while you're also beginning your MA, your master's degree, which is not recommended. So every semester is organized around, taking the obligatory courses, one optional course, and in your first year, you take the rest of your obligatory courses and more optional courses. Every semester, we offer at least one course in British Lit, at least one course in Postcolonial Lit, Canadian Lit, and American Lit. So every year, right, you can take courses in all 4 national corpuses. And, of course, we do offer second-year level courses and third-year level courses. Those advanced third-year level courses should be taken later, for instance, in the second semester of your second year and in your third year, because the demands of those courses prepare you for the graduate level if this is what you're aiming for. The other trajectory is the literature concentration. You see that this one appears to leave less possibilities, but actually it's because the literature courses are more spread out. And the concentration being in literature, you have more options for each semester. So the first year is more or less the same as the no concentration, as we like to call it. So you take your obligatory courses, your survey courses, your obligatory courses in linguistics, and then in the second year you complete your obligatory education and you move into the 2000 and 3000 level courses in literature. The idea being that you build that base of literary knowledge in preparation for the second, the next step, the master's level. Again, In your literature concentration, there are certain courses that are obligatory, literary theory being one, and certain expectations about taking third-year level courses in the second semester of the third year and in the third year if your desire is to continue on in our master's program. Our certificate is a one-year program, a 30-credit program, and it is comprised of obligatory courses, a mix of obligatory courses and optional courses. The obligatory courses are in critical writing 1 and 2. One is taken in the fall. Usually 2 is taken in the winter. And then the survey courses and optional courses. So we do recommend, once again, that if you are in the certificate, that you try to take those courses that you feel are the most beneficial for you. There is more freedom in the certificate given that there are more options in terms of the ways in which to come to the 30 credits. So it's 2 semesters of 15 credits or 2 semesters of 5 courses. At Université Laval, we have a writing center, which is organized and taken care of by our graduate students. So on a yearly basis, we hire 2, 3, sometimes 4 master's or PhD students who are there to help you with your prose, not with your content. It is not an edition service. They're not there to write your text. They're there to help you with your rhetoric, right? Obviously, you will have taken critical writing and critical writing 1 and critical writing 2, but when the time comes to hand in essays, the Writing Center becomes a resource where you can ask questions about rhetoric, about research, but not about the content. You can't send them your essays and say, okay, so what do you think about that? You have to come to the Writing Center with particular questions in mind. It is a service that offers periods of 30 minutes. So right now the service has moved online, so you get to chat with the teaching assistants there, the 2 students, the 3 students this semester, responsible for the Writing Center. And we have a website that is there, writingcenter.lit.ulaval.ca, where you can book your appointments. You have to book in advance, and they contact you after that to set up the meeting. So you book your time, you have your meeting, and you can book more time if needed, but you're not allowed to book more than a certain amount of period. So again, it's not an editorial service. But it is a very important service to our community of students in terms of helping you once again to develop your writing, an extension of your critical voice. Know also that the 4 professors in the literature program pride ourselves in terms of our availabilities to our students. Right? We take emails. We take, Teams, Zoom, Skype, Adobe Connect meetings when needed. Because, we are about 65 students in the program, because we get to know each and every one of the students, because we can know them by name, right? We are able to do that for you. And we certainly take great responsibility in our roles as supervisors, right? We are not just the professors, we also get to supervise how your work progresses. So do not hesitate at any point, if you are one of our students, to contact us if you're having problems with the course, with the material, with your writing. If we can help, we will. We might direct you to the Writing Center, but we are there to assist you. We are there as companions, as motivators, and as professors who will want to see you progress in our program. One of the alluring aspects of our program is the possibility in your second year to do an exchange abroad. We have agreements with universities around the world and in Canada as well. So the implication is that you can go and study for 1 semester abroad. So what we do is you apply, and you will get an email from me when to apply and what to do to apply. And the university basically sends you there with a stipend to study. And we together, you and I, will choose, the courses you can take there and how those courses, fit in your profile at Université Laval. The good thing is that sometimes you get to go to a great university and pay the fees that you would pay at Université Laval. So you can go to Australia. I have a student who's gone to Australia. I have a student who went to Germany a few years ago, married a German man, and is still there, and gave birth to twins a few years ago. We have a student who went to Denmark who came back with us a few years ago, and everybody who has gone abroad has enjoyed their opportunities and their experiences. Obviously, this year, because of the pandemic, because of COVID, we had to suspend, the exchange program. We have no information to convey at this point about the exchange program next year. As soon as we have information, it will be shared. Most of our information base is on a course portal that you can access once you receive your ULaval address, and then you can use your NIP to connect to our program portal, and all of the information that I presented on today, including, the trajectories, the courses, the specializations, the writing center, the resources, all of that can be found on our program portal. So it's very easy to access. It's very easy to navigate. And you should find everything that you need on there. It's one other resource that shows our commitment to keeping our students, well informed and enlightened about their possibilities. So what do you do with a BA in literature and linguistics in English? Well, throughout the years, we've had the great privilege of placing students in very different institutions. Of course, if you want to teach at the cégep level, you need to do the MA with us. The BA in literature and linguistics does not give you a license to teach in elementary school or high school in Quebec. So if you want to do that, you need to do the BA in education. If you want to teach at the cégep level, you have to do the MA in literature, our MA in literature in English, for which we have a practicum program. Right? We, in the past, our BA students have been placed anywhere from the National Library to Beanox, a gaming company. A student who had a passion for medieval literature and Old English literature was recruited by Beanox to develop a game. Obviously, editorial work. Our BA also can open to a master's degree in translation. So editorial work, writer, public relations, cultural officer. A lot of our students have worked for the City of Quebec, City of Montreal as cultural officers, taking care of festivals and events. So there are many opportunities available for you. It's not just teaching. It's not just research. There are other areas of competencies that are developed in our program and that are very attractive to employers, especially at a time where the demands for bilingual students is very, very high in the province. I do believe that this completes. Okay, one more piece of information. how to apply to our program. The address there is monportail.ulaval.ca/admission is where you apply for the program. The treatment for the application is usually quite rapid in terms of how we reply. Though with COVID, we never know, that has slowed down the process, but it's very easy to apply to our programs. It's an online process, and then it comes to, the program director, who is myself. I think I've exceeded my time. I think it would be time now for questions.
Merci beaucoup, M. Marcoux, pour cette belle présentation. Donc, je rappelle pour la période des questions, donc vous pouvez, comme on l'a dit au début, soit la poser en français ou en anglais, il n'y a pas de problème. Vous pouvez utiliser les questions-réponses en bas de l'écran, mais vous pouvez aussi lever la main. À ce moment-ci, on pourra débloquer votre micro là, pour vous donner la parole à ce moment-ci. Mais j'aurais une première question pour vous, M. Marcoux. Peut-être revenir sur les conditions d'admission du programme. Est-ce qu'il y a un test particulier qui est demandé puisque la formation est en anglais?
Oui, le test, il y a différents tests qui sont qui peuvent être acceptés. En raison de la COVID, le test que nous avons privilégié est Duolingo, qui est un test en ligne pour lequel qui teste les 4 compétences, c'est-à-dire la lecture, l'écriture, l'oral et aussi l'aspect un peu plus critical thinking. Et c'est un test qui est très facile à avoir accès et il vous procure un certificat qui est accepté. Sinon, sur le site d'admission, il y a les tests d'anglais qui sont aussi acceptés par notre programme.
Merci beaucoup pour cette précision. Lorsqu'on parle des cours de littérature, est-ce qu'on couvre différentes périodes historiques ou c'est une ou quelques-unes en particulier?
En fait, c'est une bonne question. Évidemment, les 4 professeurs, on est plus des contemporains. Donc, on va partir à peu près du 19e siècle jusqu'à aujourd'hui, mais quand même, on offre des cours comme Shakespeare et les survey courses vont reculer jusqu'au début là, de ces littératures-là. Donc, c'est sûr que les périodes médiévales, Renaissance sont moins couvertes, sont couvertes dans le cours Survey of British Literature et un petit peu dans les cours de théâtre, mais vraiment notre spécialité est la littérature contemporaine.
Merci beaucoup. Donc, je vais vous laisser le mot de la fin. Je ne vois pas d'autres questions. Donc, merci pour cette belle présentation, M. Marcoux.
Je remercie tout le monde pour votre attention. Je voudrais vous inviter, si vous êtes intéressé, à me communiquer vos questions en privé à l'adresse courriel qui apparaît sur le site Internet. Et encore une fois, nous espérons vous voir dans nos programmes dans les prochaines années. Nous avons déjà hâte de travailler avec vous et de vous mener à développer votre voix critique avec nous. Merci beaucoup. Une belle fin de journée à tout le monde.